Let's hear it for Coach joining the show. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, we are with the Carolina Panthers. Love being here, and I've got a smiley. I'm hoping well-rested Coach Dave Canales. Day off yesterday. What's going on?
Yeah, it's great. Great day to connect with family. The guys are organized, so we get our stuff done. You know, there was a bunch of dudes in here regenning. So I've been trying to, hop into that little crew too. Some infrared, some different things. Just try to stay light on my feet.
Some infrared for Coach. We love it. Is the infrared affecting the hype, the vigor, the tenacity that I'm seeing and hearing about from this camp? I was told first day of pads, 10 out of 10, insane intensity.
Yeah, it's just the heart and spirit of competition. You know, when you throw good people at each position group, like Dan and I, our dream is for every position group, we have competition all the way through it, to make the team. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to build that. And so it just kind of brings up the whole intensity of the practice.
Competition between CHUBBA and Trevin Wallace. Can you describe that sort of one-on-one that's happening?
Yeah, I mean, both guys kind of pride themselves on the physical nature of their play. CHUBBA, the tough style that he runs with, and Trevin just being big and fast and showing up violently. And so there's been some amazing collisions inside, and it goes beyond CHUBBA. I mean, Rico Dowdle, Trevor Etienne, the whole room. Those guys are really intent on showing a personality.
Keep pounding. That's sort
Absolutely.
of
that's right.
The mantra of this camp, of course. JAYCEE also may be part of that intense crew. How is he looking so far?
He looks amazing. I think having a young receiver group outside, on the perimeter, what better guy to go against every day than JC Horn? He brings out the best in them. Sometimes they get exposed because he's so tall, he's so fast, and he's got the experience and all that. So he's forcing T-Mac and Xavier to bring their best every day, and that's what we hope for.
And we're talking to you at the owners' meetings, and just about that second half of the season, those last 3 games specifically. How are you? What is the key to carrying that momentum when there is so much off time, when there is so much up and down, and it's hard to get into a rhythm? Now you guys are back. Do you feel like that momentum has picked up?
Yeah, I hope it's a trust factor. I hope it's the philosophy of our football style that we're selling to our group to say, guys, I've seen this work at the highest level, and I've seen this work for a long time. It's talking about my years in Seattle and being with Pete, and just bringing the culture here and becoming us, and finding a style of play, the things that are important, taking care of the ball, the effort, toughness, playing smart, all those things, it leads to success. And hopefully the guys felt that at the end of the season, we were playing a good brand of football. Can we just get back to that part of it? And they certainly feel like they can.
Last year, from when I sat with you last year, I think we weren't quite here. We were on the other side.
Yeah.
There's been some changes, some additions. Hunter Renfrow, Mr. Route King out here doing his thing. Well, I definitely want to get into Bryce. But if you think about you and the acclimating and feeling more, I don't even know, more comfortable, how would you describe maybe your evolution since last year sitting here with me to now?
Yeah, I think I just feel really supported. The first year is about kind of setting the foundation and explaining what we're looking for. And now I feel like I have a staff, the defensive staff. A lot of those guys were here before I got here. I have a full staff that kind of understands what we're trying to get done every day, off season and during camp and into the season. And then I have a group of leaders on our team, players, talk about Bryce, talk about CHUBBA Hubbard, JC Horn, Derek Brown, guys that really champion the cause and understand that we're trying to create a personality. We're trying to create a thumbprint, if you will, for how we play football. And so having all those voices, I just feel very supported, where I can just kind of look for the in-betweens and the incremental improvement.
So now is it just like wrinkles you're putting in? Like, are you getting to focus on more nitty-gritty stuff when you say that you're able to, you feel supported? What does that allow you to go do? Yeah,
it really does. It frees me up to kind of be more creative with schemes, and the carryover from year 1 to year 2, offensively. Can we own and master the core of our concepts, and then can we just put a little sauce on it? Defensively, can we be a little bit better at holding shell? Can we be a little better disguising this pressure? And really just trying to fine-tune some of those things. So I think the more comfortable we get, the more we can dig into the details.
Coach, how long do you want this interview to go before we talk about how you lied to me?
What? What do we got?
Is that even on these cards? Is it? That was the first question. Let me see. My producers, I'm sure. You literally lied to me. Look at what this says. Well done on the draft. Look, read that. Well done on the draft smokescreen. You had me convinced you were going defense.
Oh.
You literally lied to me at the owner meeting and said, I don't know, defense. And then you go and you get your receiver at 8th overall. What I feel? Do you want to apologize? Do you want to say gotcha? Like, you got me.
First of all, let me apologize. Okay, the process went, as we say, the evaluation process continues. It seriously went
Really?
all the way up to the morning of the draft. Dan and I going back and forth. You know, is it?
Dan liked me too, by the way. After I interviewed you, I go defense, and he was like, "You know it." And then I sat there. I sat there in my at the breakers, or not the breakers, wherever I was during the draft, and I was like, "I know what's coming." No.
Honestly, we took it all the way to the morning of, and we were sitting there.
Your PR
we were going
team very happy. Your
and
comms
we were
guy very
going
happy about
back
that.
and forth, and you know, we just couldn't get off the fact that we got a chance to get a 6'4", 220-pound wide receiver with great hands and control, and he just grew on us. And I mean, we were definitely we needed defensive help up front, you know, and the way that it played out with Princely and Nick in the next 2 rounds, it just was like a dream come true. So.
I met Tetairoa in the draft process. The night he was drafted, I met him in Green Bay, and I've seen him since. What kind of sauce does he bring to the offense that you're talking? Let's add the sauce, because that catch he made was unbelievable.
You know, he really just enjoys the game. He has a love and a joy for playing it. And the cool part is, like, he played his high school ball in Southern California. I'm from Southern California, and there's just a presence about him. The lights are never going to be too bright for a kid out of LA. You know, there's all this hype, all this pressure, all the things, and he goes to Arizona, picked that school to go with one of his teammates, and, you know, really made the most out of his career there. He comes here, and it's like it couldn't have been a better fit for him and Xavier, both guys who just love life. They have a passion for football. I know when they're thinking too much, because you don't see the smile. When they're comfortable, they're having fun. They're bringing juice. They're bringing a lot of energy to that room. So he fits in great with the group.
You have to almost read his body language, which is he's a less vocal character. Yeah. Is there a vocal guy on this offense, like the one that I as a fan would want mic'd up every game?
I would say definitely CHUBBA. CHUBBA is the guy that he's a man's man, you know, and he represents us so well, which is why we wanted to get that contract done last season, in the season, to make sure that he was with us for a long time. And this is a guy, CHUBBA specifically, who just stands for what I'm about. I just love the way he plays, and he makes sure that he talks to his teammates on the offensive side and the defensive side when they come together to make sure we're all pulling in the same direction.
You describe him as a man's man. We're talking about sauce on the offense. Bryce, your relationship with him surely has grown and evolved. Yeah. I love him. He was my favorite storyline of the NFL last year, to be so honest and so sincere. I really mean that earnestly. What have you noticed even in this camp that's really sticking out? How would you describe how his maybe NFL identity has evolved?
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, mastery of our stuff. The whole system, you know, keeping that attacking mentality. He gives me the confidence to, like, push things forward, to do a little bit more. Try a little something else before the snap, you know. Add a little extra double move on this concept or that, and he's just really allowing us to do that. And then from a leadership standpoint, the guy is so consistent. He's the same guy every day. He shows up, he speaks when he needs to, you know, he's super competitive, you know, like, just he'll give it right back to the defense, you know, when they make a play. And he's a guy that if he has an interception or he has a bad play, there's a big one coming up, and he just kind of has that you know, that stubbornness and that mentality to just continue to compete and fight.
I love hearing that. He's getting along with his new wrinkles.
Absolutely. He couldn't be more excited about, you know, the guys that we have in the receiver room. JT Sanders doing a great job at tight end. Trevor Etienne, Rico Dowdle, again, like I said, you know, Bryce is just really excited to just kind of be able to work with more guys throughout, you know, the depth of our positions.
Is he excited about this young pass rush that he's, you know, facing? Is there what can you tell NFL fans who are looking forward to maybe some of these young pass rushers taking over?
Yeah, it's the talent that we hoped we could bring in here, you know, to create that competition on the edge, you know, to see who's going to battle for those pass rush opportunities. And Nick Scorton and Princely McMillan have showed up that way, working hard every day, learning our concepts, and then also just flashing once or twice a day on a pass rush move against good tackles. And, you know, they just kind of like are taking to it. I got to talk about DJ Wanham and Pat Jones.
Okay.
These are leaders, you know, and those guys have good men in front of them that they can follow and kind of have a foundation for being a pro.
Hold on, what did that say? Princely hit Bryce.
Yes, it was.
That's what he just wrote on the whiteboard.
When we looked at the replay, he was avoiding. He got kind of thrown into it. He was avoiding. It hit his arm, you know, and it kind of all ties in. But those are teachable moments. Thank God nothing happened, you know, to Bryce in that moment. But shoot, you like to see it. You like to see the juice.
And to go back, and I like that. And to go back on offense quickly, what is this? I'm trying to think what this is going to look like. You are a mastermind. You're a former wide receivers coach. You're getting in the lab and getting to play around a little bit. Can you give me a little hint and not lie to me this time about what we might expect to see that might be different? What's the biggest change maybe that we'll see from last year to now offensively?
First of all, we're always going to try to find a way to run the ball. That's just in my DNA. But with that, we have a lot of different things we can throw at defenses, you know, just stretching the field, being more aggressive on first down. You know, okay. I think that was kind of one thing coming off of last year is I ran the ball a lot. I was trying to guarantee we got runs. We can be more aggressive in those situations, especially because of how much I trust Bryce. The further we got into the season last year, it's like, call your babies. Don't leave this game without calling your favorite, sexiest plays that we have. Just go for it. And that was Brad Idzik, you know, encouraging me. He's like, hey, be aggressive. Let's not take these plays back into the locker room after the game. And Bryce gives us the confidence to be able to do that.
Is there a receiver Tetairoa reminds you of? I'm hearing Mike Evans. You're like, not a division rival, but you know Mike Evans.
Yeah, honestly, they're different. They are a different type of player. You know, T-Mac kind of, he's got some inside-outside flexibility, kind of as a slot type of receiver, and attacks the ball, comes back to it. You know, he's got such a variety of tools that he can use because of his body control. You know, former volleyball player, so vertical leap, really soft hands, really balanced hands. That's probably the things that stand out to me.
Drake London-ish?
Yeah, that's a good comp, I think. You know, I think T-Mac has a little more fluidity in his routes than Drake, but I would say certainly the way he can play, you know, above the rim.
I'm hoping to see a connection between Bryce Young and he, maybe in the first preseason game against the Browns. What is the plan? Will we see him in this first one?
Absolutely. My plan is to play a series or two with the starters for the first two preseason games. So I'm excited to get them out there. It goes beyond just the reps in the game. It's the night before. It's the morning of. It's what you eat. It's how you mentally prepare. It's going through your process of body readiness going into the games. Those are valuable reps as much as going out there and actually playing the game. So I'm excited to kind of throw that at the guys, especially for some of the younger players, the rookies and all that. But certainly our starters just playing together and feeling what that feels like to prep from the night before all the way going up to it.
You're excited. I can't wait for the momentum from last year to carry over. And like you said, I think somebody said nobody wants to play you this year. And I agree. I know there's a big thing going on tomorrow night. Let's get into it. It's Fan Fest at Bank of America Stadium. It's full pads. It's a large crowd. It's all the Panthers fans that are excited and are going to put their hands together and scream to keep pounding. What do we have in store for the Panthers fans? It's at night. I heard there's an autograph sesh. There's a lot of things going on. What are you most looking forward to?
I am fired up to see our guys play a physical style of football. You know, old school, we used to have 4 preseason games. So, like, football's on. Last night it started. And so now I'm just excited to kind of dose these guys the right way and say, hey, man, this is like preseason 1 for us. This is an opportunity for all of you to make an impact. We got full speed special teams. We're not holding any punches. You know, the guys are going to be able to be out there. We're doing everything except for laying out and tackling at the legs, basically.
Okay, you want to get your hands dirty, Coach.
That's right.
And that trickles down from top to bottom. And I know this organization. I'm close to this organization. I know how much good is done by Nicole and Mr. Tepper. And with food banks, with food scarcity, you got your hands dirty. You got involved and you were volunteering among them. They've given over $10 million to food banks in the Carolinas, and you volunteered with them. Can you tell me a little bit about what that was like?
Yeah, I'm really proud to just be a part of this organization because, you know, you have the Teppers are so committed to meeting needs in our community. The Greater Carolinas, just whenever there's a need, whenever there's heartache, whenever there's trauma, they show up. You know, last year there was a police shooting and they showed up and offered the stadium and said, let's have this service, let's rally around that. Hurricane Helene relief, certainly, you know, we had a group of us go to the food banks that they're already connected with and get our hands involved there, you know. So I've just seen them model to me, wherever our community needs us, we will show up.
And how important is service to you as a leader of this organization? How are these players showing up?
Yeah, I think that my challenge to the guys is like, our jobs, number one, is to play really good football, but I also know how good football can affect a community and can impact it in a positive way. And I want them to be ready that as we grow as an organization, as we're called upon and asked to do things, that we already have the foundation to be involved, to reach out, and to make it a better community and a better place to live.
I think it's important to pay it forward. I think
Absolutely.
You are inspiring, the Teppers are inspiring, and there is a responsibility when you are in the spotlight, when you are having success, to pay it forward and take that time. So I can't believe I get to do this. I'm honored on behalf of everybody at FanDuel. We are going to, of course, FanDuel with a commitment to supporting communities in North Carolina. We are donating today.
That's awesome.
$200,000 to aid food banks across North Carolina. Big thanks to FanDuel, and that will provide millions of meals, 1 million meals to people who really, really need it. So thank you for the inspiration.
Oh, that's
I know
awesome.
I'm not out there, at a padded practice getting physical with CHUBBA Hubbard, but everybody has to do their part. That's really inspiring. So yes, we $100,000 to the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina, and $100,000 to Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina to help combat food scarcity, like you're doing as you
That's
combat
amazing.
all those teams in your division. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Have a
you,
good
CK.
practice out there. Don't drag me out there, though, just because I'm inspired. I'm not running through a wall physically today. All right, bye.